And we're live, everyone. Oh my gosh, welcome to the Come Cook With Me show. My name is LauraJHall, and I have to give you all, those of you who've been waiting, a huge apology. Long story short, but I had, some of you who follow me know that I had lost my phone, and I had to get a new phone. I lost it in a rogue wave right before Dorian hit, so that's another story. But the bottom line is, I didn't compare the Mevo with the new phone, and I've been working so hard to get that done, and it wasn't doing it. So we're live right now with the new phone. So hopefully it's gonna have better audio, it's gonna have an extremely better video, and thank you to my wonderful husband who's been supporting me and trying to get this done, because I'm telling you what, it's just been crazy. So welcome to the show. If you're new and this is your first time viewing, say hello, who you are, where you're from, because that's what we do in our community. And this is show number 93 since we started the Come Cook With Me show. So I'm so happy and so thrilled. So those of you who have been following me, you know that we've been working on some keto recipes, because some of you who I coach are really getting into healthy keto. So I've created, well, I guess it was last time this year we did halftime chili. So we did an amazing chili recipe. But it wasn't keto friendly, it was just really healthy and uber just yummy. So today we're gonna be creating a keto chili. We have two types that we're creating. Well, we have it being cooked, it's already done in that slow cooker. It's been done, I can't wait to show it to you. And we're gonna be making the same one that's in that crock pot, and I'll show it to you in a moment. We're gonna be making that traditional one that has meat in the MEALTHY pot. And then I have a really fantastic recipe that I've made, just finite changes so that we could have a vegan side as well. So hang on, people, we are ready to go. Let me start off the show with telling you what we do first. And this is something that I do traditionally whenever I cook. So, and if I'm a little sweaty, a little shiny, it's because you have no idea how much I was working to try to get this going. Probably an hour, and way too long for you all waiting. So again, I appreciate your patience and kindness. Also, don't forget to hit those love buttons, the little heart signs if you're staying on live. Even if you're watching afterward, it just helps with Facebook just to get this video and this audio out there. And I did post the recipe, is actually in the post itself, because we're using live Facebook right now, which is wonderful. So let me go ahead and get this hot pot. Let me make a little bit more space. You're gonna love this recipe. It smells so heavenly in this kitchen. Heaven. So here we go. Hold on a moment. There we are. I lost my spectacles, and I'm trying to, I can't see anything that you're all saying. So, all right, let me take the lid off so it's not too hot. Give it a quick stir before I bring it over there. So some of you are uber traditional cooks, and you love your crock pot. I happen to love my crock pot too. So take a look at how beautiful that is. It smells so good. It is gonna be so delicious, and it freezes well. Oh my gosh. Okay, just keep that lid back on so it stays nice and hot. Brad is the traditionalist, and he loves things out of the slow cooker, so that's one of his things. So what we're gonna do is teach you how we did this one, and then we're also gonna do the the vegan recipe. So let's go ahead and get started. One thing we do whenever we cook in my kitchen is we roast garlic. But for this recipe, we actually roasted some poblano, we roasted a habanero, and we roasted a jalapeno with our garlic. And I've used all of them, but we had some remaining garlic cloves left, so I just wanted to show you what it is. So we just roast it with extra virgin olive oil. Actually, this one we used avocado because we wanted to use it both for vegan and vegetarian. So I used an avocado, cold pressed, non-GMO. Non-GMO is really essential. And so that's what we're doing. We roast those in the oven, and doing this with the garlic just enhances the flavor of anything that you're cooking it just really just makes the flavor so wonderful. So, and roasted poblano and habanero and jalapeno, yum. So the other thing that I did is I wanted to try how it would look if some people in your slow cooker approach, if you don't have that saute feature. You'll see some of the pictures because I always post the pictures of the cooking in process so that you can see, oh, this is what it's supposed to look like. So I actually did that when we get to the vegan vegetarian one. When we get there, I'll kind of show you. But what you want to do is go ahead, if you're going to be cooking with me, you want to set your pressure cooker, whichever one you're using, set it to saute feature. So I'm going to hit saute and let that get started to heat up. It's such a fast, easy recipe. It took me longer to try to get this video going than it did to, oh my gosh, it's just crazy. All right, so you want to coat the bottom of your pan. That's pretty good. I might have to use a little bit of bone broth just so that nothing sticks. In fact, I think I will do that just because we want to make sure it's coated. I ran out of extra oil and I don't need it for this pot. So, all right, so while that is heating, what you're gonna wanna do is grab those wonderful, wonderful roasted garlic. I've chopped the roasted garlic up. I actually have in here the chopped up roasted jalapeno. I used half a habanero for this one, for the traditional, and then half a habanero. Those habaneros, when I tasted the CrockPot back there, they were so hot. It was just like, ooh, my goodness. Somebody's gonna be saying, Laura, that's a little hot. And I'm gonna tell you why. I have a new spice that I'm gonna actually introduce you to today. It is one that we found, we probably found it, we found it during Mardi Gras, actually. But I haven't used it on the cooking show, so just wait. And if you watched the video that I taped this morning, the behind the scenes, and a lot of you love that because that's down in my feed, you might want to do that. You can kind of see the behind the scenes, and I'm going to do another behind the scenes when I get this Mevo fixed up and working, you'll see. Anyway, so we have also a half of an onion, and this onion has not been, we're going to go ahead and cook it. So we're going to go ahead and put these guys right here into the bottom of the pan. And we're going to get that started. And because this is the, oh gosh, that just smells heavenly. I wish that you could smell it. It's so heavenly. So that's going to get started to heat up. And then in this bowl, I actually have ground turkey and I have grass-fed, I'll show you the brand that I have. I have a grass-fed organic, just pure 100% organic, USDA. It is the best grass-fed beef that you go, oh, sorry, I'm not showing it to you. And I forgot to switch it so you're not seeing it backwards. This is a Dakota brand. It's grass-fed. You want to, if you're really trying to cook for the best health with your family, you want to go with grass-fed products, you know, no hormone injection, just the cleanest, you know, meat that you can possibly use. I try to cook anything organically. So we're going to go ahead and dump these meats in. There's a pound of each in. And we're going to go ahead and let that start to saute a little bit. Again, if you wanted to skip this and you were doing it on the stove, you could do this part on the stove. But really, because the grass-fed beef is just so low, it doesn't have a lot of fat. A lot of times, like, I know I didn't have the slow cooker that had the saute feature. I used to always brown my meat in a separate dish because all of the runoff of all the extra fat, I always would want to drain it. When you're using a grass-fed beef that's really raised organically, you don't have a lot of extra anything. In fact, that particular one, I barely cooked it on the stove just to see because I remembered I wanted to take a picture of it cooking in there so you could see it from a saute feature. And you saw when I opened the lid, there's absolutely no, really no grease whatsoever. So the meat is really fantastic. So we're gonna let this brown a little bit. And what's great, while it's kind of browning, I could probably start doing, since we're live right now, we could go ahead and start doing the vegan side as well. So in the vegan and vegetarian, it's totally vegan because we're not gonna have any cheeses or anything that would compromise what vegans really require or would love. So I'll go ahead and show you that. While we'll keep stirring this, but we'll just go ahead and show you what we want to get started. So what's so easy about the vegan and vegetarian one is I went ahead and crumbled up the meat, the vegan meats, and we use two different vegan meats. One is called, it's a Gimme Lean plant. You can use whatever one you love. That's what I love about it. But I did a Gimme Lean veggie sausage, and again, I try to pick everything that is non-GMO. So there's a symbol here. I'll show you that symbol right there. I'll show it to you from other places too. But you want to do non-GMO because that's genetically modified organisms. So we don't want to put genetic modification in our body. It messes up, creates havoc in our endocrine system, all kinds of things. So, and so much research hasn't even been done on how the GMOs are really affecting us. So we want to stay away from GMOs. And then the other thing I found really awesome is the tofu crumbles. And this one is a little hot. So what's great about it is once you cook the sausage up, which I did cook the sausage up, and it's in here. So we have the sausage and we have the tofu crumbles, and it's just wonderful. And how I cooked it with the onion and the garlic on the stove, just so you could see it. And I just like to do that sausage a little bit more. I've used that sausage in the past, and it's just so much better if you can use that sausage. Just get it crumbled and really broken apart so that it doesn't clump up in the actual Instapot. So, all right, that's still sauteing really well. So we'll go ahead and I'm gonna start with the liquid in the bottom of this particular pot so that we know nothing will stick. And our liquid we're using for the vegan is we're using a vegetable broth. I particularly like the Pacific brand, but you know, whatever you find at your grocery stores, just look for something that says organic. So you're gonna use about 16 ounces. We're gonna start with just about a cup, so it'll be right at the cup mark. In total, it'll be 4 cups, so if you decide to do that, I'm just gonna put 1 cup in, or 2 cups in right now. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and add in the vegetables that we've chopped. Sorry that you can't see it with Vivo. You could see me walking all the way through this kitchen, but you just don't. So what we have here is we have some oregano, we have some onion, we have just a half, because we use just half of everything when it comes to peppers and onions whenever you're cooking keto, because those are, you know, but the best thing in here, let me see if I can pull one out, is this little baby. And that, my friend, is celery. So it's a great way to be cooking keto when you want to use vegetables, and some of those that aren't totally keto friendly because they turn to sugar. So celery, what I love about celery, let me use the spatula that I use for vegan. Celery is one of those great, I'm gonna say it wrong, not even try. But it's one of those vegetables that hold up sturdy, and what's great about it is they absorb the flavors that you're cooking with. Celery is one of those, just the best thing you can cook with. One of my broccoli, cauliflower, those are really great ones. They absorb the flavor. They take on whatever it is that you're trying to, you know, cook with. So I just love it. All right, and this is still going strong, nice and just getting, we just kind of want to get it, you don't have to get it so brown, but make sure that your onions are a little more translucent. And that's really what I'm looking for. Oh, one popped up. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add in the meat mixture into the vegan pot. Oh my gosh, that's just, this is gonna be so heavenly, you're not even gonna, like if you're already looking at that recipe and saying, ooh, I'm gonna have to try that. Yeah, you're gonna wanna try it. That is for sure. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get the tomato products that we're gonna add. You're gonna wanna use a tomato product that is, I chose a fire roasted, diced Mirror Glen organic. And this is a 14 ounce, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. And one of the things I wanna point out to you, when I pick a can, I really try to pick the boxes, but we don't have as many to choose from or supply to choose from. But one of the things that I really, really, really love to get is to make sure that it's non-PBA. So that is that symbol right there. And I know it's kind of not, you can't see it up close, but you want to look at your cans and see that they don't have PBA lining. And what is that? PBA lining. This is really done. This is perfect. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and turn that saute feature off. PBA is bisphenol A. So it's what they line the cans with, and again, it's one of those endocrine disruptors. Bisphenol A is like a plastic lining. And I know a lot of manufacturers in cans are switching to a different type of bisphenol. So you have to really be careful. Do the best that you can. Obviously, when you get them in the boxes, as long as they're not lined with the plastic, that's really a great go-to. But organic is primary. That non-GMO is also the secondary, the primary. Okay, so we also are going to use some crushed tomatoes. So those were fire roasted diced, and we're going to use some fire roasted crushed. I like the fire roasted in a chili because it's just so, you know, it just gives us like a complex, and I'm only using half of this can, by the way. I may decide to add more at the very end just to see how much we have going in. I'm going to stir that up a smidgen. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so incredible. All right, so I'm going to just continue with this one. I'm almost thinking I can go ahead and add in the other 2 ounces, or 4 ounces, excuse me, or 2 cups, rather. Perfect. And then I had, because I cooked this one on the stove, I didn't have all of the wonderful flavors that were part of the jalapeno, the habanero, all the smoky goodness. So I'm gonna go ahead and add those into this one, because that one was in here while it was cooking. But this one, when I did it on the stove, it wasn't, so I could actually show you what it looked like. And this is where you're gonna see a ton of the flavor just come out. I love to cook with complexity flavors. It's just building on flavor after, you know, one after the other. And I may add the rest of those crushed tomatoes in. You want to do, I think I called the recipe for the full can, but you really don't, you'll just see you'll see your thickness, you'll see how you actually like it. But to maintain certain keto, you want to be careful with not using too much tomato. And that's why when I typically cook a chili, without thinking from a keto perspective, I always love to use those plum tomatoes and have extra tomatoes that you can sitting around. But again, when you have too many of those tomatoes, those turn to sugar, so you just have to be careful with how much you're using. I think this is just gonna be ready. So beautiful. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing in here. And if you can see the bottom of this, I can actually use my, just to show you that it's just water from the turkey. It's not an oil in the bottom. I'll try to put it all to one side and lift it up so you can see it. It's a little hot, so hang with me. Don't forget to hit those love buttons. Oh, and that share button. So if you can kind of see in the inside, it's just water from the turkey. So I love it. I love having grass-fed beef and, you know, just humanely treated beef, if that's what you love. It's so awesome. Okay, that is ready. All right, so let's go ahead. We want to add in the liquid. So we're using for this liquid, my Publix, I just can't get over it, have started carrying one of my favorite. I use the Pacific brand, it's also one of my favorites, but I love the Kettle and Fire. It's also organic, and this one's a beef broth. So since they didn't have my bone broth that I typically buy, and I saw this one on the shelf, I was like, woo, boy, they'd come up in stage. So I'm gonna go ahead and add half of this box. Yep. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add in my diced tomatoes. We'll all be up to speed on each of the containers. And I'll add half of the crushed can. Perfect. And just keep that right here in case it drips, it doesn't go on the counter. All right, and then now we have 4 sprigs of oregano. We've got 4 stalks of celery that have been chopped up. I have half of a yellow, half of a red, half of a green pepper. And then we're gonna just go ahead and slide that right in. And now it's gonna be time to add the spices. Let's stir it up just a smidgen so I can see how the liquid looks. And I can definitely add a little bit more bone broth. A lot of people will use a water when they're making their chilies, but I really love to use a bone broth. And the reason why it's just so good for our gut health, you really want to focus on what you're putting in, helping your gut, and just, you know, giving it all the nutrients and beautiful. Bone broth is just so wonderful for gut health. You can do a little Google search and say, what is she talking about? Really good. All right. Now that is exactly what I'm talking about. My husband is ready for dinner, I'm just gonna say, and I know you were ready for this video. Okay, time to have the spices go in. And we're gonna start off with our liquid aminos. You're gonna wanna have about 2 tablespoons of liquid aminos. I like the coconut liquid aminos, and I'll show it to you, even though it's gonna be sideways or backwards. And this is the brand I love. I love that particular brand, coconut aminos. It's like a Worcestershire, but it takes out all of the, it's from coconut, so it takes out the extra salt, you know, those things that you don't want to have, and it takes out the soy. It's not a soy product, so that's what's wonderful about that. All right, so the next spice we're going to use is we're going to use some organic cayenne pepper. Again, look for your spices to say organic, look for them to say non-GMO, and that symbol is universal. And I give a recommendation about how much spice to use, for each one. I know what my family likes. Of course, I think I did that one a little too spicy, and you'll see why in a minute. But then you're gonna wanna use some crushed red pepper, and that's what that looks like. That we're using about 1.5 teaspoons. And that's what the recipe is called for. And then one pepper that I think adds some real complex flavor is the chipotle chili pepper. And this one is crushed, it's not the actual flakes. I prefer the flakes, so I'm just gonna be real careful on that one. But chipotle is just, well, those of you who love spice, you know you love chipotle. So, okay, so next one is coriander. So it's some ground coriander, and it looks like that. And happy Thursday, by the way. The next one we're gonna use this is such a wonderful spice. It's ancho chili. So flavorful. Okay. And we got a little bit of, oh wait, that was the cayenne, I already put that in. Should have used the rest of that one. The next one is a chili powder. Again, this is just, I love the McCormick brand chili powder. Here we go. And the chili powder is what gives it just that incredible flavor. There we go, that's enough. And we have some smoked Hungarian paprika. If you just have smoked paprika, that's okay too. I really love the Hungarian. Just, I don't know, you should do a side by side. And in fact, I have a friend who's into peppers, and let me tell you, they really love the Hungarian smoked paprika. They visited a lot of different places, so it really works out well. And so you're gonna wanna get 2 bay leaves. And remember, when you're finished cooking your chili, you wanna remember to take the bay leaves out before you actually serve. And our last ingredient, which our family absolutely loves, is cumin. So I'm gonna add in the cumin, and I usually use a half a jar for this batch. So I'm gonna open up another one and use a quarter of this one on this pot. Cumin is one of my favorite spices. I actually have several favorite, really. How can I call it my favorite? Who doesn't love a little spice in life? I know I do. All right, now I'm gonna stir it up just so that those are nice and evenly distributed. And in a pressure cooker, you really don't have to, but tradition, I'm an old school. So, oh gosh, it looks great. All right, now, this is the secret ingredient that I'm gonna talk about, and it is called Slap Your Mama. I found these during Mardi Gras when I just saw them on the shelf. They've probably been on the shelf longer, and these spices are the bomb. They come out of Louisiana, and really it's just a funny story when you actually buy these. And somebody wrote into me and said that they found them at Walmart. So Starla, thank you for telling us that you found them at Walmart, which is so hilarious because they're just getting around. But they're produced by Walker and Son. But what I love about them is the story. There's the story here. It says in 1956, you're gonna love this, Wilda Marie Fontenot Walker gave birth to the creator of this award-winning seasoning. Every time she uses it, she receives a loving slap on her back and a kiss on her cheek, thanking her for another great, tasty Cajun dish. Isn't that hysterical? I love it. But what I love about these spices, more than that, is that they're the bomb. I mean, they're really outstanding. So the other thing is they have a regular, just a, not hot, is kind of a mild, but they have a really hot one. So I did a little bit too much back there in that crock pot because I've tasted it now. But you can use whatever spice you like, but I recommend going really light because you can always add a little bit more. So go a little light on your Slap Your Mama because you can add it when the pot comes out. You can always add a little bit more, but you can't take it out. All right, so the last thing we're gonna add is about a half a can. Let me grab a little spoon, I didn't put one out. We're gonna add a half a can of tomato paste. We're gonna just go ahead and put it right in. And I always recommend people, listen, you may like your chili a little thicker, and if you do, keep an extra can of this when the pressure cookers are finished. If you like it to be a little thicker, by all means, have an extra paste so you can thicken it up. And then we have one final ingredient, and that is those people who want to have just a little bit of hint of sweetness. Yeah, the garlic should have added that, because we roasted it, it's gonna take that sweetness into play. Also, the peppers that we use will take some sweetness into play, but I really like this coconut sugar, and only gonna use half of a cup to each pot. So it's a coconut sugar blend. It's a brown sugar replacement, but it's made out of coconut. And no, it doesn't actually have that coconut flavor either. I mean, if you smelled it, it smells just like a brown sugar. It's just a a little healthier for you. And the brand I used, let's see, that was Big Tree Farms. So, now I love how it gives that rich color. It'll give that rich color to the chili actually. You'll see it just on top, just watch it just change on top. The liquid aminos also kind of do that as well. All right, we're definitely not gonna add, this one probably is gonna come out a little bit more liquidy. We'll see what happens. Maybe adding about a half of another can of tomato paste. But what's really great about it is that this is gonna be super hot when you do a 10-minute quick release on the pot, and you'll be able to add it without any problem whatsoever. So we're gonna go ahead and put these lids on. And we're gonna turn it to make sure that that pressure is in the off, not venting. Just make sure it's sealed on both. And we're gonna go ahead and set it to pressure cook, and we're gonna set it for 20 minutes. So we're gonna set that, and I need to go up to 20 minutes here. Start, and I'm gonna hit pressure cook, get it up to 20 minutes. And it'll automatically start. That one automatically starts. And that's it. That's the recipe. It's so crazy easy. So easy. But it's so flavorful and so tasty. When you're serving it, we'll wait till it's done beeping. When you actually serve it, on the recipe, you'll see a whole list of different garnishes that you can put with. But what I love, my favorite garnishes, especially to keep it keto friendly, is use a half of an avocado, have it thinly sliced and lay it on top, and then have either your Greek yogurt or put on some sour cream. Really, sour cream is okay. And, just, add some scallions. I gave a whole list of different items that you can actually use for the top. I know my family loves to put a little cheese on. So really whatever you really love. If you're gonna do the cheese, I would do the actual yogurt. And for the vegan, vegetarian, there are so many. I didn't pull it out, and thank God I didn't, because it would be so hot. But I'll show you some pictures when you see the pictures in the file. But there's some really great vegan cheeses that have great melting points. So I'm gonna show you my favorite are the Follow Your Heart. They melt really well. They actually blend in with your food that you've cooked. And then I use a Kite Hill almond organic sour cream, but it's not a sour cream. It's actual yogurt. It's an almond yogurt, and it's really yummy. So when you use that for the vegan side, you're just gonna have a beautiful, wonderful meal. And that's it for the day. This is our show. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for your patience today. It has been an extraordinary experience, and I absolutely loved creating this recipe. I loved creating this recipe for you because so many of you are working hard at your goals and your nutrition goals, and I'm really enjoying coming up with ways to even take my recipes that we've created, all the recipes from the 90 shows that I've done that were not keto friendly. So I'm really excited, and I know that about 30 of my recipes actually are vegan, vegetarian. So that's really wonderful. So I'll look forward to creating more things in the kitchen with you all, and thank you for your patience. Next week we have a really special event, so you want to tune in, and hopefully I'll have all of this worked out before I come back. Have a wonderful, blessed weekend, everyone. Stay safe. I know that there's some storms still churning up in the out there in the ocean, so be safe. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and tomorrow is Friday, and have a wonderful Friday, everyone. All right, we'll see you next week. Sending you lots of love. Thanks for the love. Don't forget to hit that share button. All right, see you.